Hi, it's Ariane. I'm back with another video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 ways to raise your credit score. The first way to increase your credit is going to be to make sure you pay your bills on time. First and foremost, I said this before in like another video, but that's a really point I want to drive home. And it's not about just paying your bills. You have to pay them on time. There's something called a slow pay. If you slow pay your bills, if anyone has ever seen like their credit report, there are numbers associated with like when you're paying your bills. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0. 0 is on time. So you want zeros behind anything that you have to pay back. You don't want 1. That means you're 1 month late, 2 months late, 3 months late, etc. Pay your bills on time. If someone gives you money, they want their money back on time. Not only is it going to help your credit score, but you pay less interest. The interest is compounded if you are paying something slow. Like, you never want to slow pay back anything. Or if you do, you just want to just start paying on time. Now you can understand how your credit is affected by it. So that's the first tip, is to pay your bills on time. If you have a car or you make car payments, you have a car loan, you can actually make principal payments. So when you're paying back any type of loans, typically, there's the principal payment, there's interest. When you make just one payment, it includes your principal and your interest. If you can afford to pay a little bit extra, that extra goes to the principal. The principal is the balance. It goes straight to the balance. So it pays down your balance faster, and it also reduces the entirety of how long you have to pay back, like the loan. For example, so most car loans are for 4 or 5 years. It just varies. So instead of you actually paying it back in the full 5 years, taking 5 years and the bank accumulating all of that interest for 5 years, if you make principal payments, you pay it back sooner. So that's a little tip, and that's only if you have extra. So make principal payments. Me personally, I like reminders to pay my bills. So you can make a reminder to pay your bills, set up auto pay. Be careful with auto pay though. You want to make sure you know how many payments you have left before you just put it on auto pay, because auto pay will continue even after the bill is paid off. But those are 2 other little helpers I like to use. So use reminders to remind you to make your payments, and you can set up auto pay. Okay, tip number 2. When you are checking your credit, so if you're using Credit Karma, I'm an advocate of Credit Karma because it shows you everything on your credit, and it also shows you recommendations of credit cards to use for you specifically based on your credit situation. But if you're looking at your credit report, regardless if it's on Credit Karma or not, and if you notice something that's wrong, dispute it. Call and say, hey, this is not right. Either this is not me, I never took out this line of credit, or it's paid off, whatever the case may be. You can dispute like medical charges, credit card charges. You can dispute anything that's not right. So if you notice something that's like faulty on your credit, call and dispute it. They have to legally, look into that and freeze it. And typically it takes 30 days for them to remove it from your credit entirely, and that'll help raise your credit. The last thing to do to increase your credit score is going to be to only buy things on your credit card that you can afford to pay within that same month. And I'll give you an example. So things that you typically will be spending money on, i.e. groceries, gas, any toiletry items, just basic things that you spend on a monthly basis, buy it on your credit card and then pay it off the same month, period. Don't buy something that you cannot afford, because what happens is you're building interest on that, and it's pointless. It's pointless. Even if you're paying that down, you don't want to put yourself in a situation where you're buying things that you can't really afford. Only put something on a credit card that you can actually afford to buy without a credit card, and then pay it off the same month. You still build credit that way. I've heard people say that they want to use 30% of their credit line, or they want to not pay it all off right away. That's a myth. Pay your credit card down right away. Do not pay interest on your credit card. you can still build credit that way. So those are my 3 tips on how to increase your credit. If you have any questions, let me know. And I